There are 50 million reasons for the man across the street to kill you, and he doesn't even know it yet. He's just a waiter on a smoke break, scrolling his phone. But somewhere on that phone, in a corner of the internet you can't reach, your face is worth more than he'll earn in 1,000 lifetimes. 50 million. Tax-free. To anyone who can prove you're dead. You used to be the one they sent. The name whispered in the dark. The last thing a target never saw coming. You were the best in the world at ending lives quietly, until the day you became the life that needed ending. Now every stranger is a potential executioner. Every camera is a noose. Every friend you ever had is doing the math on what your head is worth. You take a slow sip of coffee. You don't run. Running is what gets you killed. You've hunted enough people to know exactly how the hunted die. This is what it's like to have the highest price in the world on your own head, and to be the one person alive most qualified to survive it. You weren't born a killer. You were made into one step at a time, until there was no path back. Maybe you started as a soldier, special forces, the kind they send where armies can't go. Maybe an intelligence service found you and saw something useful, a steadiness, an absence of the thing that makes most people hesitate. They trained the hesitation out of what little remained. You learned to end a life from across a room or across a city, and to feel nothing afterward. You learned to become no one. Gray, forgettable, a face that slides out of memory the moment it's gone. You learned the trade so completely that you stopped being a person who kills and became a tool that does, pointed by hands you never questioned. For years you were the perfect instrument. You went where you were sent. You did what you were told. The targets had names you were never given and crimes you were never told. You didn't ask. Asking was for people who still had a conscience to satisfy. You were the best because you were empty. And empty men don't see it coming when the people who made them decide they're too dangerous to keep. The bounty didn't come from your enemies, it came from the people who built you. You know too much. That's the simple, ancient reason. You carried out operations that, if they ever came to light, would topple governments and end the careers of men who shake hands with presidents. You are a walking confession. Every job you ever did is a secret living inside your skull. And secrets that can walk and talk are the most dangerous kind. For years that didn't matter, because you were theirs. Loyal. Controlled. Pointed and fired. But something changed. Maybe you hesitated on a job just once. Maybe you asked a question you weren't supposed to ask. Maybe you simply got old enough that they started to wonder what you might do with everything you know. So they made a decision, the same cold decision you made about your targets 100 times. The asset has become a liability, and they did the most efficient thing imaginable. They didn't send one killer after you. Killers can be beaten, and you're better than any of them. Instead, they put a price on your head so enormous that the entire world becomes your hunter. $50 million. They turned every desperate, greedy, ambitious person on Earth into your enemy. They weaponized humanity itself against you. And then they sat back to watch you die. The moment the bounty goes live, your old life ends completely. Your bank accounts freeze. They made sure of that. Your safe houses are burned. They knew them all. The people you trusted go silent or, worse, start watching you with new eyes. Because 50 million is enough to make anyone forget what loyalty ever meant. But here's what the people who built you forgot. You're not just a target. You're the most dangerous target they've ever created. Everything that made you the perfect killer now makes you the perfect survivor. You know how the hunt works because you ran it 100 times. You know how trackers think because you are the best tracker alive, so you do the opposite of what every hunted man does. You don't run blind. You don't panic. You disappear into the one place no one looks, plain sight. You become exactly the gray, forgettable nobody they trained you to be. A tired man on a bus, a face in a crowd, a nothing. The hunters expect a cornered animal. Instead, they're chasing a ghost who taught half of them everything they know. Day one ends with you alive, in a cheap room, in a city no one would think to look. You've survived the first day. Most don't. The first serious attempt doesn't come from a stranger. It comes from someone you trusted. You see him before he sees you. Old habits. Sitting in a cafe you frequent, trying too hard to look casual. You trained alongside him once. You saved his life, years ago, in a country neither of you can name. And now he's here to collect $50 million by ending yours. You don't feel anger. You understand. You'd have done the same. That's the horror of what you both are. The friendship was always real, and it was always for sale, and you both knew it. You could simply leave. But he knows your patterns. He'll find you again. So you do the thing you're best at, the thing that empties out a little more of whatever's left inside you. You let him follow you somewhere quiet. And you remind him, the hard way, why you were always the one they sent for the impossible jobs. You walk away. He doesn't. And you carry one more face into the gallery of faces that visit you when you try to sleep. The bounty is still 50 million, but now everyone hunting you knows the first one didn't come back. The price just got more interesting, and so did you. After the first one, they changed tactics. They stop sending individuals and start closing the world around you. Every border crossing scans for your face. Every airport, every train station, every camera in every city feeds into systems hunting for you specifically. The people who built you have resources beyond any single killer. They have nations worth of surveillance, and they've turned all of it toward one man. You learn to live in the cracks. You move at the times cameras see worst. You change your walk, your posture, the shape of your face with the smallest tricks. The same tricks you once used to get close to targets, now used to vanish from view. You sleep in shifts of 2 hours. You never use the same anything twice. You trust no one, because trust is now just a slower form of suicide. The loneliness is total. There is not one person on the planet you can call, not one face that isn't a threat. You've spent your whole life being alone, but this is something deeper. You are hunted alone, by everyone, everywhere, with no end in sight and no one who would mourn you. And in the quiet hours, you start to wonder if the bounty was just an excuse, if the truth is that the world was always going to come for what you are. Here's the thing about being chased by the whole world. Eventually you realize you can't outrun it, so you do the only thing left. You turn around. The people who built you made one mistake. They taught you everything. They taught you how the system works, who pulls the strings, where the orders come from. They aimed the entire world at you. But to aim it, they had to expose themselves, just a little. And a man who has nothing left to lose and knows exactly where to look becomes the most dangerous thing in existence. You stop being the hunted. You become, one last time, the hunter. You trace the bounty backward. Who funded it? Who arranged it? Which of the powerful men who shake hands with presidents decided you needed to die? You use every skill they gave you against the people who gave it. You're not doing it to survive anymore. You stopped believing you'd survive a while ago. You're doing it for the only thing a hollow man has left, the truth. If you're going to die for the secrets in your head, then those secrets are going to see daylight first. You build a record. Names, dates, operations, everything they were so desperate to bury, and you make sure that if you fall, it all comes out, that your death buys them nothing. You've been hunted for months now, or longer. You've stopped counting the way you stopped counting everything that used to make you human. There's no family. There never could be. They'd have been the first lever used against you. There are no friends. The last one came to collect your bounty. There's no home, no name, no face you can keep. You've spent your entire life being erased, and now even the erasure is being erased. You think about the targets, sometimes, the faces in your scope, the lives you ended without a name or a reason. You wonder if they felt this hunted, alone, knowing the end was coming and unable to stop it. You wonder if this is simply the bill, come due at last, for a life spent sending other people to exactly where you are now. So why keep going? Why not just stop, sit down, let one of the $50 million hunters end it? Because the truth still hasn't come out. Because the men who built you, used you, and tried to erase you still think they've won. And the one thing left in you that isn't empty, the last small stubborn ember, refuses to let them. You're in a cafe now. Could be anywhere. Gray hair, a steady hand, a face the cameras still hunt and people still walk past without a glance. A young man sits nearby. Fit. Quiet. Empty in the eyes in a way you recognize, because you used to see it in the mirror. He moves like someone who's been trained to end lives and feel nothing, fresh, loyal, certain that the people who made him will always have his back. You could tell him how it ends, how the perfect instrument becomes the inconvenient secret, how the same hands that point you will one day decide you're worth more dead and turn the whole world into your executioner. How everything they give you so they can use it against you later. But you won't. Because he doesn't know you exist. Doesn't know the gray man at the corner table is the one with $50 million on his head, the one nobody could collect. And he never will. That's how it works. It's always how it worked. The world runs on people like you. Made, used, and discarded. Pointed at the dark and then erased when the dark is done. You finish your coffee, You leave exact change. You step out into a street full of people who'd kill you for a number, and you vanish into them one more time. And somewhere, a man with a soft handshake is sitting down across from that young killer, ready to tell him he's the best there is. The cycle begins again.